Dreamer here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Switch 2 and all the possibilities of like games that could possibly be coming out on the new system, because to be honest, the Switch 2 is probably like my most anticipated thing in like just gaming in general right now. I'm so excited to see what the launch lineup is, what the console looks like, what the specs are, what the roadmap for the future of Nintendo looks like. I'm just really excited for the future of not only just Nintendo, but especially the Switch 2. I am very excited to see what Nintendo has in store for their next generation. And you know, part of the most exciting part about it is what franchises will come back. What games will they do a new iteration of with the new hardware? And I think that's what's really exciting, because I do think the current Switch has probably debatably the best library of games any console has ever had. I think you look at things like PS1, PS2. I think you look at things like maybe the Wii. You look at like the Xbox Series right now, because to be honest, you could play almost any Xbox game ever on the Series X. So that's also really good. PS4 has a really good catalog. But I think when you look at Nintendo, there's no Nintendo console that I feel just is the ultimate catalog of games and all franchises than the Switch. I feel like there are consoles that have really good catalogs of games but are missing key franchises. And you could look at something like the Wii U. There is a lot of games on there, but there's so many franchises missing. Same thing with the Wii. Same thing with the N64. You know, I feel like the Switch really is the culmination of like everything Nintendo's ever done, and it really is just trying to combine it into this ultimate package. And I feel like when the Switch 2 releases, if it has backwards compatibility, which I'm almost 100% sure is going to be a lock, the Switch 2 could have easily the best catalog of games of all time, because we're going to be getting basically 7 to 8 more years of just adding to that catalog, and Nintendo's just on an absolute roll. But we're gonna take a look at 10 games that I would want on the Switch 2. Like, if I was the head of Nintendo and I was like, yo, I want these 10 games on the Switch 2, it could be whatever. I came up with like some pipe dream ones. I came up with some bringing back old franchises. I came with just some easy, like, ones that probably will happen. So I'm gonna take a look at the 10 Switch 2 games that I would want. So let's get started. If you guys love Nintendo, if you guys love gaming, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, if you guys just love video games like I do, consider subscribing. I really do appreciate it. We cover so many things on the channel, and I like to stay up to date. And we've honestly been on a roll on the channel. Thank you all so much for all the support, and I appreciate any support you give on this video. But let's get started. These are in no particular order of like which ones I would want the most. So I guess I'll just pick and choose as I go. I have my list here, and let's just go and start with the obvious one. Metroid is my favorite franchise of all time. Not franchise of all time, favorite Nintendo franchise of all time. It's one of my favorite just franchises of all time in general. Metroid Dread is my currently my second favorite Switch game. My favorite first party Nintendo game, probably ever, I think. Maybe, I don't know, that's an interesting question, but definitely on the Switch. And Metroid Prime I absolutely love, not as much as Dread, but I do still really love Metroid Prime. And the easy one for me is I want another 2D Metroid, because Metroid Dread was so good. I feel like they honestly could just do a sequel to Dread, and it would just be awesome. I feel like they could just evolve on what that game set up. I feel like they could really take Metroid 2D to the next level, because I do personally think 2D Metroid does have a little bit more to offer, I think, when it comes to what the game is. I do think Metroid Prime is really great, but the thing is, we're already getting Metroid Prime 4, so you know, if that wasn't announced, I'd probably have Metroid Prime 4 in here, just because we need another Metroid Prime. It's been forever, but Metroid 2D is just where it's at, and I absolutely want another 2D Metroid, whether it's a Dread sequel or a completely new thing. I don't even care. Hey, just give me more Metroid. I'll take whatever Metroid they want to give me. Ports of Prime 2 and 3, I'll take it. But yeah, a new 2D Metroid is easily in my top 10 most wanted games on the new Switch. Let's go for another one that I feel like almost everybody's going to have on their list, and that is a 3D Mario game. Now, for me, I'm going to put specifically Mario Odyssey 2. I love Mario Odyssey. Honestly, after thinking about it for a long time and after many years, I do think I think Mario Odyssey is probably the best Mario game that I've played. I haven't played Galaxy 2, so I don't know. But then I haven't played Mario 64 either. I've played Sunshine, Galaxy. I mean, Bowser's Fury, if you count that as mainline. But yeah, pretty much, I think Mario Odyssey is, from what I see, like, just the highest quality of Mario game ever. You know, whether it's the most fun or everyone's favorite, that's definitely up to debate. But I just think the amount of exploration, the amount of freedom you have, the level designs, the creativity used in it, the just quality of performance, the visuals of the game, the controls of the game, just everything in the game is just to the highest of quality. I feel like Mario Odyssey 2 could just take it so much farther. And I do believe this is the perfect opportunity to finally introduce a fully co-op Mario 3D game. Bring in Luigi, give him a Cappy as well, give us that 2-player co-op mainline 3D Mario game, and that would just be absolutely amazing. But who knows where else we could go in Mario Odyssey 2. Who knows the biomes, who knows all the different levels. All I know is, for me, Mario Odyssey is probably my favorite 3D Mario game, and I think it's one of the best, if not the best. And I just think a Mario Odyssey 2 would just be so awesome, and I think this could be the perfect launch game as well. The next game we're going to be talking about, we're going to go to another sequel to a 3D game that was on the Switch. I would really love another 3D Kirby game. Now, I don't know if this looks like a Forgotten Land sequel or if it's something completely new. I would imagine it's something completely new. But nonetheless, I think the 3D Kirby game, Forgotten Land, was a home run. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed what they did with it. I've never actually played a 2D Kirby game. That's something on my backlog currently. But just knowing from what I know of Kirby games, it just works so well. And from what I played of Forgotten Land, which I beat the whole game, it just worked so well. And it was a delight from start to finish. I do feel like, again, like a lot of these games, they could just evolve and build upon what that first game did. And I do feel like it could end up being much bigger and better than what it was. I do feel like you could add a few more different kind of like scripted moments in the game, if that makes sense. Like, have these interesting moments where you're doing something else other than just platforming, which, don't get me wrong, that is awesome. But it does feel like every level is just kind of the same, but using a different ability every time, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at something like Mario Odyssey or like some other platformers, there are moments where you're like, there's like almost a whole level of you like sliding down water or like grinding rails, stuff like that. And I understand that may not be Kirby, but I do feel like having some sort of level variation to switch up things that you're actually doing in the game could work very well, and also make it longer. Me and my friend completed it in like one sitting pretty much, and yeah, we need that bigger and better, because what Forgotten Land did was super duper awesome. Alright, now moving on to probably something that you weren't expecting. Everybody thinks a new Mario Kart's gonna happen. I disagree and agree. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is what I want. Do I think this is gonna happen? Probably not, okay? But we are gonna get a new kart game, and I would want it to be Nintendo Kart. I don't know what they would call that, Super Smash Kart, whatever. I don't know, you know, but Nintendo Kart needs to happen, because what Mario Kart 8 has done, I don't really see how you can top that. The amount of courses, characters, just customization, everything, the quality of the controls, gameplay is so high in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I don't really know how you can top that. And the way you do it is you just do something completely different. And that is just have a full-on Nintendo crossover for Mario Kart. Bring courses from other franchises in. Bring characters from other franchises in. Bring vehicles in from other franchises. And they kind of gambled into that, or not gambled, dabbled into that in Mario Kart 8. You have like F-Zero, you have Link, you have stuff like, you have Animal Crossing. But I feel like if you had a full-fledged crossover, maybe even bring in third-party stuff, that could just be absolutely insane, and that is a perfect way to go bigger and better. And I do feel like that would just be really, really awesome as well. All right, now that we're done with like obvious slam dunk sequels, ones that I feel like are very, very possible, let's go to some stuff that is maybe a little bit less possible or very unlikely, or maybe you never thought of until now. The first one is going to be one that I absolutely want. This is a hands down, like, this is top 3 most wanted on the Switch 2 for me, and that is Super Mario Maker 3. The Super Mario Maker games are just phenomenal. One of the best ideas any game publisher has ever had, period. And Mario Maker 1 was phenomenal. Mario Maker 2 was even better. Mario 3, who knows what they could do. Can you imagine if Mario Maker 3 allowed you to make 3D courses? If they got to a point where you could design 3D courses, it might be the best game of all time. Like, to be honest, because that would just, like, I can't even imagine the amount of creativity and the amount of hours and effort people are going to put into that, including myself. It would just be insane. I would absolutely love Mario Maker 3, but even if it isn't 3D, if it just sticks to 2D, you now have Wonder to go upon. That game is creative as ever. You know, that was my favorite part of Wonder. Whether I loved Wonder or not, the creativity is insane in that game. The amount of different things and variety in that game is amazing. So to have that in a Mario Maker game, whew, sign me up. That would be awesome. Moving on, let's go to another Mario game, and I do believe this is probably the last Mario game on the list. I know there's a lot of Mario, but hey, Mario's just the GOAT. What can we say? I've been saying it forever. I wanted it on this Switch, but I do think at this point it's going to be next Switch, and that is a new Mario Sluggers game. Mario Super Sluggers was one of my favorite, if not my favorite game on the Nintendo Wii. And, you know, I've been really wanting a sequel to that ever since, and we've just not gotten it. Now, the problem with this one is they need to do it right, because all the sports games up to this point haven't really lived up to everybody's expectations or desires, and I hope that won't be the case with Sluggers. Maybe that's why it's been a little longer for a new sports game than normal, because maybe they're just really working hard on this one, trying to make it as good as possible. Give us a full-fledged single-player mode. Give us that amazing roster the Super Sluggers had. You know, give us those mini games. Give us everything that you can possibly give us, because Mario Sluggers is truly super duper fun and one of my favorite Mario sports games. And I just feel like it's time. It's time for Mario Sluggers to make its return, and I think it will happen on the Switch too. Moving away from Mario, we're going to stick kind of in the same universe, but we're going to a completely different franchise. I love the Yoshi games, and I think Yoshi's Crafted World was super duper, honestly underrated. I get it's very kid friendly, it's very easy, it's very simple, but it's so charming. It's so charming, it's so creative, and it's fun. It's fun from start to finish. The main antagonist of that game was my favorite Nintendo character, Bowser Jr., right there. So I absolutely love that. I think just the visuals, the kind of gameplay format it is just fun. I would love to see a whole new Yoshi game, because who doesn't love Yoshi? Yoshi's just, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing, and I feel like a new Yoshi game could be fire. Alright, let's go to another kind of spin-off type thing. Let's go to Pokemon. Obviously, one of Nintendo's, if not Nintendo's biggest franchises. I mean, you could make the argument. I mean, it's either Mario or Pokemon. I mean, there really is no debate. Now, if we're looking at numbers, technically Pokemon probably does take out Mario just a little bit. But definitely when you're looking at like quality, stuff like that, that's up for debate. But Pokemon is massive. It's the highest grossing media franchise of all time. There's going to be something Pokemon on the next console. We know the next generation is eventually going to come, but I don't feel like we're anywhere close to that. I feel like that's at least 2026, 2027 at the earliest. But what about some spin-offs, man? Because honestly, spin-offs are my favorite Pokemon games. New Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, Pokken Tournament, Poke Park. All those are awesome. So what Pokemon spin-off would I want the most from the Switch 2? And ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying it forever, but it is a new Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium is just the perfect recipe for a Pokemon spin-off. The best part of Pokemon is building your team and battling with that team. If you have a full-fledged game just around that, how can you go wrong? Especially since the last Pokemon Stadium was on the N64 with Pokemon Stadium 2. And at that time, we only had 2 gens to work with. Now we have, 9? Can you imagine how big this game could be and how many awesome things it could be? Now, the thing is, it would have to be just like the old ones. Have those gyms you're able to do. Have some single-player content. Have party mode where there's a ton of minigames. Those minigames are amazing. Super memorable. A new Pokemon Stadium could be awesome. I would love a new Pokemon Snap. I doubt we're going to get it. I would love a Poke Park. Doubt we're going to get it. Pokken Tournament, I would actually be really down for another one of that. Doubt we're going to get it. I do feel like Pokemon Stadium is the next play for a Pokemon spinoff. It's the one everybody wants, and I feel like it's the one that could benefit from a new installment the most, and that would just be freaking phenomenal. But to end off our list, I have 2 left. And these 2 are franchises that I'm bringing back. These are 2 franchises I feel like Nintendo has kind of let pretty much die, and that it needs to come back better than ever, and it needs to capture our hearts again. Now, one of them I absolutely love. One of them I've yet to play, but I've heard so much about it, and it's something I'm super duper interested in that I want to play it really, really badly, and it's something I'm currently on my backlog. The first one is one that I love, and I feel like everybody's kind of been wanting for a while, and that is Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven is such a unique format and style of game where it's like WarioWare in a way, but it's all rhythm based, all music based, and it's just fun. There's nothing like out of this world fantastic about Rhythm Heaven, like, yo, this is next gen, this is pushing the industry forward. But this is something you can sink hours into. This is something you can sink your mind and your focus into and kind of just lock in and have so much fun while doing it. And I feel like Rhythm Heaven with the Switch's hardware, whether it's motion controls, whether it's just being able to click buttons, being able to take it on the go, put it on the big screen, Rhythm Heaven could just do so much. We've seen rhythm games not only just on this generation, but previous generation do really, really well. And Rhythm Heaven could be one of those. With, we have things like Just Dance. We have things like Hi-Fi Rush. All the above. All these different rhythm things. There's still a market and there's still an audience for that. And Rhythm Heaven could really help bring that back to life on the Switch with a new installment. But the last one I'm going to say is the franchise that I think I would easily want to return the most. And it's just because of what I've heard from it and from what I've seen of it. It just looks really, really cool, and I do feel like it deserves a new installment, and that is Star Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Star Fox, it's just a really, really cool theme. I've been thinking about this a lot. I think I'm going to do another ranking video here on the channel soon about my favorite themes/settings in games, because I've been thinking about it. I think sci-fi is probably, like, sci-fi/space, futuristic, whatever, is probably my favorite theme/setting in any game. And if I look at Metroid, Dead Space, Mega Man, all that is like sci-fi, futuristic tech stuff. Star Fox kind of fits in that boat. Star Wars is my favorite franchise of all time, so I feel like Star Fox I would absolutely love. I also love flying, and I've heard there's like a lot of that in Star Fox. I think so that'd be really, really cool. But yeah, I heard Star Fox Zero wasn't necessarily the biggest hit. And I've heard Star Fox is really fun, whether you're talking about Star Fox Assault or Star Fox 64. I feel like it needs to come back, and it needs to recapture everyone's hearts, and it needs to capture new hearts. And I feel like that is the best way to do it, because the Switch is massive. The Switch is just user base, player base is so massive that we've seen it with previous franchises. It's the Switch effect. When a new franchise comes back or has a new installment, it just breaks the record of that franchise every single time. Metroid did it. Pokemon has done it. Mario Kart's done it. 3D Mario's done it. Zelda's done it. Almost all their franchises have broken their own records because of the Switch, and every franchise to come, I feel like, will do the same, and I do feel like Star Fox is floating in that same boat. Now, the other one I could say is F-Zero. That's going to be my honorable mention. I know a lot of people want F-Zero games. I personally, I think it'd be really cool. I've played like F-Zero 99 and stuff like that, and it looks fun. I don't know if it's like one of my most wanted things, but I will throw it in there as an honorable mention because I do think it could be a really cool game on the Switch, and I do know a lot of people want it to be really, really fun. But those are the 10 Switch games that I want on the Switch 2. Some of them are very unlikely, like a new Pokemon Stadium or Star Fox at this point, or Rhythm Heaven for sure. But yeah, for the most part, there are some slam dunks, like a new 2D Metroid, Mario Odyssey 2, Kirby 3D game would be awesome. Some pipe dreams got like Nintendo Kart. I would love to see something like that. But for the most part, those are the 10 most wanted games that I want for the Switch 2. Let me know down in the comments what are some games you would absolutely love to see on the Switch 2. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.